Hi, I am Denise Miller, and this is the second video of covering clothing tags with leftover ephemera. Now, in the other video I made, this little book, I already had the booklet, and it had little pockets. So I took tags and covered them, and I kept with the theme of one of the packets that we have in our shop, which is Isaiah 43. Put that in and finished all of these. So this time it's a little bit different. There's 3 tags to one piece of string. And at first I was just going to leave them on and work around it. But I see that I probably can get it off. See if I can do this. Yep. And then I'm going to restring it and use that same string after. It just makes it a little bit easier for the top part and for the holes. Those holes, the squares will be covered up, but I do have a hole maker, a couple different size hole makers that we can redo. So I do want the colors to semi go along with this theme, this packet, but when I was looking at this, I realized those purples were in our Pearl Logos packet, similar coloring. And then when I was digging through, I found some other purple just in case needed. So I'm looking at the sizes. They have this, these 2 are the same size, and then this one is smaller. Trying to see, isn't that perfect? I think what I might just do, because there's writing on the front and back, I might just try to fold it over. So where is my pencil? A little bit here, and then another one to there. Add a little bit for the edge, and then I can always come back and cut more off. Actually, you know what I'm gonna do? I think I'm gonna get a straighter cut if I use this. Let's see where my dot is. As much as it's a straighter cut, sometimes it's not, because I think this is off just a tad. I got a new one, hoping it would be less that way, off just a smidge. On these things, it doesn't really matter, but on some projects that I'm doing, you know, even just a teeny bit off, it does matter, and then it kind of messes things up. But for this, I think it's going to be fine. Okay, so let's see how we do. Put some of this aside. Let's see which way I do it. This way. And then I'm going to cut off the little extra. Okay, now this is printed on sticker paper, which is actually full-size label paper. A lot of people go looking for sticker paper and can't find it, and then they realize what we're talking about is label paper. But it's just the whole entire page instead of just little squares or address label size. Okay, let's see if this works. Yep, worked really well. There is a tad that I am going to cut off. And the only reason I'm not just pulling it over and sticking it is it's so you know, such a little amount. I have a feeling it would just unstick, constantly be coming off, and then it would just be sticky anyway. In my last video, I talked about how my scissors get very gunky with the sticker paper. And we're about at that point where I'm going to have to de-stick it. Okay, now let me feel if that's the top. Yep. Cut down here. And then I can feel where the hole needs to be. Let me put the hole in there right now. This one is a pretty small hole maker. I think it's right around there. So I might have to come back with a larger one. Just because it would be 2 strings going through it. Okay, good start. We have one done. Now it's easier, obviously, when you have a really big piece like that. But as we go, this one now, I can do one side, but it doesn't fit, obviously, all the way down. So is this, yep, that's sticker paper. I'm gonna start down here. And all I'm gonna do is match it up on the corners and then pencil line around it. And cut out. I have to think of what I want on the back. I love some of these other colors here. And because I've taken it apart now, I technically have the choice then how to put it back on that little string. There you go. Okay. All right. Start it out. Try to match it up as best you can. Even if you're a little bit off, it goes off quick. Okay, let's see if it works. Yep. One side done. Put a little hole in there. Okay, other side. These look so pretty together. And then this is going to be the top one. So let's look at some of our other options. You know, I have so much of this left, but I don't know. Maybe on the back side I can use that. But I brought out, I don't know if I necessarily like that as much as I like this. Okay. I'm just gonna find a little bit of spot on here. I could go straight. I'm looking at color right now. I love this one, but I don't know if I really want to do that. If I did this, it would probably be the easiest. And that would get that little bit in there. I could move it over and get a little bit more. Maybe I'll do that. Right about there. That gets 3 in there. That's gonna look nice. And then I have the back sides for these two. Obviously the first one's already done. Just makes my heart so happy using up some of this ephemera. It's not that I am guilty with it sitting there, but it just gets more and more and more and more and more. Because I have to download the packets to take photos of them to upload. So I end up with a lot more. Normally when I download one of the packets, if I was just Bible journaling for myself, not in a women's group or something like that, I would pick and choose what pages. I would not print the whole thing, but because I have to take photos and things like that, I end up printing a lot of it. More than I use is what I'm trying to say. Okay, well, kept moving and not cutting right. It's because they're sticky on my scissors, and I really don't want to go get another pair and gunk it up. Let's see, one last try. There we go. Putting a hole in just so I can see where it is after. So I have extra of this, and I think that's what I'm going to do for the background. I might stick to this side right here. This solid is so pretty though. I almost wish there was 3 different sizes, and I could chop off a little of this one to get that look of 3, and I might end up doing that. It would be more like this, unless I change those around, and it'd be more like this. Yeah, kind of like that look. Okay, so let's think about this. I need back for this and back for this. I have more of this that I could put in the back of that. Let me just finish this one. If I ended up not wanting a solid on this, I could always put this piece down the middle. That would bring in some of this coloring into it. And once I have both sides done, I can pick and choose what side to use if I end up liking one side better than another. Because let me turn this one over, the one that has this on it already, and see. Because that one's almost all pink. And then that would really set that off nicely. Yeah, we did it this way. More so than that. Yep, I kind of like that. Okay, let's put this on the back. Do I like one size for the bottom better? In case I decide not to use the dot side for the front. Okay, choice made. It's funny, I often print not on label paper, but I'm just really enjoying this ease of this, that I might start printing more on it. I got off a little bit, have a little at the bottom. Let's see, I said before that's probably not going to work just folding it because it's so little. Okay, last one. Let's see what we want on this. This I might need to, unless I go with, yeah, look at that, it fits. So let's just do it. It's going to be the back side. Now, what am I going to do with this once I put it together? In the other video, I talked about possibly making it into like a logos where I write someone word that they're working on for the year on it. Let's see if that wrote on it here. I could do 3 different Bible verses. We're doing the Psalms this year, so I could write out some Psalms, print them out. But the fact that the three are held together, I want them to somehow correlate with each other. But I have a lot of options. And I'm always looking for things for my faith mail that I send to people, so this would be perfect. Okay, last back done. And I have to try to get holes in them. Oops, off a little bit. But when you put the background on it, or the edging, it will be fine. So I'm glad I put the hole in to begin with, because it is a lot easier when there's already one little hole here. Let me see if I can cut some of that off. That time it worked really well. Let's try this side. Yeah, that worked. Maybe I was just holding my scissors wrong. Nope, that time it was not doing well. Okay, so we have 3 holes. Let me think of the color I want on the outside. I have black here, and there is black in the kit, but I may not be using anything else in the kit. Maybe these flowers are gorgeous. Those are from Jennifer Barbet, and I love them. Yeah, I think I might add some flowers on there. But let me first think of the outside. I think I'm going to try to get deep purple. So I do have brushes, and you can spend a lot of time brushing, or you can just grab it and go along the edge, which that is what I am doing. It does pick up any imperfections in your cutting, but I like really grungy stuff, so I am fine with that. I do both sides. And I have a little, it went off a little bit, and there's a little white here, so I will show you. I'm going to come back with a purple pencil and just fill that in a little bit. Normally it doesn't matter, but white shows up more than maybe if it was a darker background. Okay. Now I could have made the corners rounded. I did not, but that is always an option. So let me find purple, royal purple, and these are Derwent Color Soft. So these are the Color Soft, and then these are the Inktense. Inktense are water soluble. So if I added water, it'd be like watercolor. But I keep these together because both are very soft. And so why does it matter to have it soft? It goes on very easily, but it also smudges real easily, which is nice. So if you do not have any ink to go around the outsides, just use a pencil. Put it on a piece of paper and then just go along the edge like that. And then I filled in that little white part that was sticking out along this edge. Now I'm going to figure out, of course I did that, and now I'm thinking I want to go back and cut one of these smaller. So I think of that one I'm going to keep. Here's a little part that's sticking out. Where are my scissors? There we go. And come back with ink it. Because now the white shows right here where I cut. Now it doesn't. And that just puts a little bit of border on it. Okay, so let's think this through. I want to cut very small off here. And then I'm going to re-ink again. And the only reason for that is you'll see the little bit of the layering of the 3 pieces. There we go. So I'm going to take the thread originally and I'm going to try to thread through. I will have mine 3 together, and then I can either write different Bible verses on it. Because there's a little bit of a section here, I could write a word here. My word for this year is like steadfast. So if I have a friend whose word, you know, pick any word like trust, you would write trust. And then I could add, because it's front and back, I could do a Bible verse on each one. I could just do the front. If you're using it for yourself, a solid you can journal on. If it gets really dark and black doesn't show up, use a white pen. You know, white pen, the jelly pens. I'm trying to grab one. The Jelly Roll 10 from Japan. It almost always, I've gone through so many white pens and they just dry up. These seem to work the best, but they work real well on a darker color. So there's so many things you can do with these little tags that when you buy your clothing. So don't throw them away. I say that, you're going to hate me if I'm saying don't throw things away, but they are fun to work with. You know, we always use tags, and tags are fun. You know, they're enjoyable to work with. But every once in a while, it's fun just to kind of upcycle something that you have just laying around. So anyway, share on our Facebook group, which is facebook.com/groups/visual faith ministry. We'd love to see it. Or in the comments. I don't think you can share photos in the comments, but love to see whatever you make.